Stuff happens, even to the best of us. At least your car insurance rate doesn't have to take a hit. Get Erie Rate Lock from Erie Insurance. Gives you a great rate that stays put until you change a car, driver, or your address. Plus, seriously good service. Now that's something to smile about.
Your Erie agent in Uniontown and Ross Traver Township is Sprowls Insurance Group, 724-437-9812, or go to sprowlsinsurance.com.
Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage and is not available in all
The
states.
views and opinions presented by the host, guests, or callers on this program do not necessarily represent the positions of WMBS Radio.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, you'll soon be here. It'll be.
And now it's time for the Democratic Radio Hour with George Huckabee and the cast of characters in the studio. What's going on, George?
Hey, Nick, it's good to see you. And if I call you TJ, you're not going to be too upset with me?
Absolutely not.
Nick, how you been? It's good to see
Good.
you.
What's going
Bringing in
on?
the All-Stars today.
That's it.
We brought it. We got a full house here. And again, to look to my left, we got the one and only Doc Rowley. And to the left, there's Rich Ringer. And we have a special guest, and I'll introduce him here, Alan Bradstock. Alan is running for Congress in the 14th Congressional District. Alan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, we got any music, Nick, to kick off the show? See, Alan, you don't know this. I've been playing this for so long, it wouldn't be right. This is one of my... I told you, you're going to dance after this, right? We're talking about dancing, Nick, before the show.
Is that right?
I always said I wish I could dance like my man.
I'm sure you can.
I'm going to try it one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Get a few drinks in you.
Well, we'll do that, too.
Yeah.
And again, thank you. Welcome to Democratic Hour on WMBS. Guys, I have a lot of topics before we go in with Alan. What you would think the number one topic would have been today? Winter storm, state of emergency, right? Like we've never seen snow before, right? So we're even going to get Alan's prediction here. Doc, I'm going to start with you. How many inches of snow you think Uniontown will get?
We sometimes get a little bit more than anyone else, so I'd say maybe 6, 8.
All right, 6/8, Rich, go right ahead.
I think, I don't know, maybe I'll go with Doc 8.
8.
I'm gonna go with a foot.
Foot. Nick, what's your prediction?
Anywhere from 1 inch to like 35.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no.
Cover all bases, right, Nick?
Going to be a lot of snow, George. Yeah,
I'm going to
exactly.
say 8 to 10.
There you go.
Okay, and I'm going to make one announcement, and then of course we're going to get into Alan here. I got a change. Usually, the Fayette County Democratic women have their little demonstrations here in town. So what they're going to do, they're canceling tomorrow, but they're putting one on today. It's from 3:30 to 5:30 in Marshall Park. So we were told, I went by the park, there might be some slick areas there, so if anybody's showing up, make sure you have the proper gear on today, right? You'd think they would. It's winter.
Is that Marshall Park down by the library or
Yes.
the 5 corner?
No, Marshall Park at the library.
By the library.
Yes. So the Fayette County Democratic women will be there. It's 5:30 or 3:30 to 5:30 at Marshall Park. So tomorrow's event is going to be postponed, but you'll be back at it next Saturday at the Veterans Plaza in Connellsville. And I want to again thank the Fayette County Democratic women. And we do have a special guest, and it is Alan Bradstock. Alan, welcome to WMBS and Democratic Hour. And you and I have talked quite a bit, but tell everybody listening on it's everything about you and why you're running, and that's probably the biggest question. Alan.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm Alan Bradstock. I'm running for Congress in Pennsylvania 14th District, which is all of Washington, Greene, Fayette, most of Westmoreland, Somerset, and Indiana. I grew up in Denora and graduated from Ringgold High School. Went to W&J, Washington Jefferson College, studied accounting there, played basketball there. Had a really good time doing that. Proud that I had a career much better than I expected when I went, and ended up getting voted into the Hall of Fame last year. So
congratulations.
That was great news. Yeah, it was a surprise. So, but I'm honored to be in there.
I know you weren't a point guard.
I was not. No, I was the center. So yeah, back when before the 3-pointer and the shot clock, a whole different era.
No, we're giving our age away now, right?
I know for sure.
No, go right ahead. Alan.
And then after that, I was commissioned in the Army. Went down to Fort Rucker, Alabama, where I learned how to fly helicopters. I got stationed in Germany back in 1988, so it was a fascinating time. It was before the wall came down. I was there while the wall came down and the aftermath afterwards. And then our division that we thought was only going to be there, the 3rd Armored Division, to plug the Fulda Gap, ended up going to Desert Storm and participated in that. Spent a few more years in the Army. Then I came home, did some financial advising, and worked as an auditor with KPMG. And I realized that I missed having a mission, and so I joined the FBI, and I did that for 20 years. And it was a fascinating career. First off, I went down to Las Cruces, New Mexico, and worked along the southwest border for 6 years, working drug investigations and kidnappings, murders, serial killers. And then after 9/11, I got into counterterrorism work and coordinating with intelligence agencies. Actually had a chance to work out of CIA headquarters. I worked out of DEA Special Operations Division. Then I went back into trying to coordinate operations and intelligence with the FBI. Had a chance to work out of our embassy in Ottawa, Canada. So I worked closely with the Canadians, doing all manner of coordination of national security matters and criminal. And after a couple more years of FBI, I retired and had a chance to. The big thing that was going on in my life at that point was that my youngest child started his transgender journey. So I needed to be there for him, and it took us a lot of time to get the the right care. And once we were able to do that, to make the decision to allow him to begin that transition, and his depression that he had beforehand vanished, and it was fantastic for us. So
I can't imagine what you went through. So Ellen, between now and the first day to circulate petitions is on February 17th. So where could anybody listening, audience, could reach out to? Where are you going to be, and how can we help you in that endeavor?
Sure. There probably you could track our Facebook page, so follow that, Bradstock for Congress. Also, our website is Bradstock for Congress, and that's the word FOR. And so that's a place you'd be able to get a lot of different information. There's so many different events, I don't have them all memorized yet on the petitions.
And how many signatures you need?
I'm going to need 1,000, so we're going to shoot for 2,000.
And that's between all the counties that you mentioned. It's in the 14th Congressional District.
Correct, and we have to get those between February 17th and March 10th. And
then March 10th, you have to go to Harrisburg to once you circulate your petitions to get them certified.
Correct.
I can't imagine from Donora, Pennsylvania, to be our next congressman. I'm deeply honored, guys. You have any, Doc? I mean, we always talk about Alan. Do you have any questions for Alan, Doc?
No, I'm sure you're probably one of your boyhood heroes is Stan Musial from down your way. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
He set the pace for ethical standards and all.
Absolutely. It was a thrill when I got a chance to wait on him at the restaurant called the Redwood when I was working in Donora.
Fantastic.
Well, how about the other one? Ken Griffey.
He was not a bad ball player either.
Ken Griffey from Donora. And now we're going to have a congressman from Donora. Ellen, I look down at your resume, Doc and Rich, and the people that's going to get to know you, from your military career. And thank you for your service.
You're welcome. Thanks.
And I've said to you before you came on the show about being a chopper pilot. And for those who are in the service, I was telling Alan, that's one sound that you'll always remember in your life once you get out of the service, especially that sound from a Huey.
Yeah, that wop wop, you'll never forget.
Especially if you're in a good situation or bad situation, take you out, that you were going out of a combat zone into a safe area. But Alan, we're going to do everything in here as a Democratic Party and a Democratic chair. I know between now and February 17th, you're going to be out and about. Anywhere else here in the county, or?
Well, next week I'll be at the Labor Council in Westmoreland County on Monday, and then I do a meet and greet at somebody's house in Charleroi on Tuesday. Then I'm going to be talking to the women of Westmoreland on Wednesday. So next week's a busy week, and every week it seems like there's several events that'll be happening, and that's going to be just spooling up over time. So looking forward to getting out and actually listening, because that's going to be really important, especially getting out across all of the district and and find out what is really important to people, and not just depending on polls or what we think, just actually talking to people.
Have you bumped into your opponent yet?
Oh, no. He doesn't spend a lot of time in the district, so no. It's probably very unlikely.
Yeah, I recall after the last election that he won, he didn't even stick around and thank his supporters and the people who worked for him. He jetted down to Mar-a-Lago on election night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to him then. I wasn't thinking I was going to be running for Congress, so that all changed in March of last year with all the chaos.
Well, and I'll say this. I'm willing to bet if I walked, and I know I've walked part of this county, and I know you're going to be walking in all the counties, I'm willing to bet if you went to 50 people right now, they couldn't tell you who the congressman was.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because like I said, he hasn't been here, and we've mentioned it so many times, but I know you got a lot of work to do. We're here to help you. And whatever we could do, we're going to do it to make sure that we have representation. And I'm looking down. How did you choose the FBI? And what do you think what's going on with the FBI now? Because, they're on the hot seat there in Washington, D.C., especially under the Trump administration.
Right. Yeah. Choosing the FBI, I had some friends when I was getting out of the Army that were thinking about it at that point, and I wasn't. And then after I heard one of them get in, and as I told you earlier, when I was missing a sense of mission, I realized that would probably be a great place to go. And it really was. And so I'm very proud of my time in the FBI. And you really did get a sense of service and accomplishing things and working with a lot of great like-minded people. And it's very painful after, especially last year with the new administration coming in, and Department of Justice was in essence making the employees feel like they were the enemy and they were the bad guys. And I was talking to so many friends, I heard that same thing. And so that was hard to hear, and it was a major reason why I decided I had to do something and feel compelled to run. And now when I'm hearing about, one of my good friends was actually one of the initial ones that got forced to retire in week 1, and just because he was a senior executive, not because he did anything wrong or was even accused of doing anything wrong.
Yeah, the dismantling of the FBI right now is rather shocking.
It really is, and some of the things that Director Patel is doing and saying and acting is so far from the norm, and I'm just shocked, and it makes me just sad is probably the main thing, I think.
Yeah. You go to ride in a armored BMW?
Ellen, you bring up an excellent point. Rich does too. Now, somebody who's serving the FBI, and a lot of those individuals, retired, spending X amount to see what's going on, especially you're running. So if somebody asks you about the FBI, because you lived it for 20 years.
Right. Yeah, and such, I had such admiration for the directors while I was, they work hard and they were focused, and, they weren't perfect, but they were honorable. And so now that you have somebody there that's really doing the bidding and really truly is weaponizing the Justice Department, it's also a bit scary, because I never, when I was in there, thought that, it could happen. And so the fact that it's starting to happen is frightening.
Well, your time in the Army, did you ever get an illegal order?
I did not, no. There was, in that time, I almost could not imagine it as well, just because of the quality of the leadership up and down the chain of command, and really can never imagine a president that would do that after, so much had happened maybe decades earlier, but it was hard for me to imagine, so no, nothing close.
Yeah. But you knew about the...
Oh, yeah, we were trained. Yeah. I mean, everybody
Right.
knew that and that was a basic part of training, and we got that drilled into us repeatedly.
Yeah, good. What about you mentioned your time in Canada. What do you think, the 51st state, do you think Canadians would go along with that?
Oh, man, that's another thing that's just so painful to hear. And I didn't really get a sense of it until you're living there, visiting there. You don't quite get the same, but they're very proud of their independence. They're very different history, the War of 1812, which it's something we barely remember, but they remember it very, very strongly. And so this talk is not going well. And Donald Trump has united at least one country, and that's Canada, and probably all the countries in Europe as well.
Ellen, I'm going to put you on the hot spot here. When you're elected, we expect you to have some town hall meetings. 'Cause
Absolutely.
we haven't seen ours, and I know this is his fifth term now. I think this will be the end of him. 10 years. I do believe it's 10 years. But think about this. We got a congressman who, like you said, Washington, Greene, Fayette, part of Somerset, Indiana, Bedford. Am I correct?
Westmoreland.
Oh, Westmoreland. I'm sorry. But yet we haven't seen him. Doesn't come back. Doesn't have town hall meetings. I know one thing we called him out, and you'd have to agree on this. Unfortunately, when they had the accident in Maryland where the ship hit the bridge and unfortunately 5 people were killed, it was a possibility we're going to lose a mine in Greene County because the majority of the coal was being shipped through that port to overseas. And he was too busy to call the United Mine Workers at the time. And I know who called the United Mine Workers was at that time Senator Casey, or Commissioner Vince Vacides, and myself reached out to United Mine Workers. He was too busy thinking about renaming the airport after the current president of the United States. But no, Ellen, anything we could do here? And any other thing? You got another minute or two?
I
Because
do.
I know you have something planned.
Well, sure. I've got some flexibility, and
Okay.
I think one thing, just when you're talking, I think the difference between me and Guy and
Right.
is really just I'm from the district. I'm from Denora. My 3 generational roots are from Denora, so I am from here. I keep coming back here, and it's because I care about here. And when I look at Guy, he wasn't born or raised in the district. He never really spent a lot of time in the district. He doesn't, even while he is supposedly representing the district, and it tells me he doesn't care. So I think that's a big difference. And I truly want to represent everybody because you've probably heard me say this before, that when you're an FBI agent, an Army officer, go to W&J, you have a lot of Republican friends. And since I got to kind of modify this, but I used to say that most of my friends are Republican, but as I started to run, I've gotten new friends like you guys, and so I'm kind of bridging the gap. But when you do, I want to represent everybody because I think that's the biggest problem. The underlying issue in our country is this division that is making both our government at the high level working very ineffectively, and that's been even before Trump. And it's also just breaking down relationships, and we need to remember how to talk to each other more civilly.
I totally agree.
I think that's what I'm going to try to do as well. And it's going to be essential for me to be effective to persuade voters because I have to persuade people.
And I think once they hear what you have to say, they'll definitely going to listen.
I think
there
so.
are so many things going on. Of course, with the Affordable Health Care Act, people's insurance rates are going up, but yet those in public service, especially the congressmen, they have the best health care in the world, but yet we haven't heard a statement from our congressman or anything with health care.
And the president only has a concept.
Right. And the way I look at it, too, is I want to focus. It's almost going back to basics where, got to focus on things that impact the family, right? And just that's good jobs, affordability, health care, child care, and just basic things that impact the family.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up affordability. I think people vote depending on their pocketbook,
Right.
in their wallets.
Yeah, and then the next level to me is like community, making sure schools, it's safe, infrastructure, rebuilding the towns like Denora that have just been decimated by the mill closures. And then when you do that, you're going to rebuild that sense of community, and that's how you get people talking and interacting. And so I think that's important. And I also want to focus on just values because I believe that my Republican friends, they have the same values we all, grew up with. And so, but, the propaganda is strong. And so sometimes, we're not viewing the world the same way. So I want to focus on just trying to solve problems and actually leadership because, I learned that character and competence are the foundation of that. And I'm not seeing that in the administration, but I do know that most of my Republican friends have both. And so that's what gives me optimism, and I want to try to search for that.
I look down, your years of service, and the first thing under this current administration, we have heard nothing from Guy, especially when he eliminated X amount of jobs from the Veterans Administration. That hurts anybody to use the VA here
Right.
locally. For us here in Uniontown, we have an excellent VA clinic, and of course, those veterans have to go to Pittsburgh or outside of Pittsburgh, usually go to Clarksburg, West Virginia. But those some of the things that our congressman doesn't talk about,
Right.
because we can't find him.
Right.
He has no interest in coming back here. And I'd say that if he was our party.
Right.
But he isn't. I've said this, and we challenged him to it. When you drive from D.C. to come back in your district, just go west on Route 40. He'll come through Fayette County.
Yeah.
But some reason he chose not to. So, Ellen,
And I do have, if you don't mind, just
No, go right ahead.
a couple more things to mention that, I think with the current events this year, it's been pretty shocking, with Venezuela. I really didn't think that was going to happen. And so it's kind of scary that are the types of things that the administration would do, to be so adamant about Greenland and Canada, and for such a petty reason, just because he doesn't get the Nobel Prize. It's frightening about his state of mind. And then when you look at what's going on with ICE in Minnesota, and how people are being impacted. And so one of the things that I've been talking about during the campaign is, the thing that makes I feel so much better from the time, as soon as I said I was going to do something and I started taking action, I feel better. So I still doom scroll a little bit every day, but then because I'm spending the rest of the day trying to figure out how to make it better, I feel better. And the people that are working with me are doing that. And so if you're worried and you want to be part of the change, sign up on our website and volunteer. And we've got a lot of creative ways to get people involved. And I think you'll feel better. I want to build that community of all of us. And also, if you're able to donate, and it's going to take a little bit of cash, because Guy's going to have a lot
of cash.
Yeah, and so please consider
Boots on the
donating.
ground.
Yeah, and so we want to do both. And I'm getting more and more optimistic because we're getting a lot of folks that are very passionate and talented that want to help, and I'm even having accumulating some solid Republicans as well.
While you're out running around so far, what are people telling you? Are they worried about what's going on federally, or are they just focusing on?
No, absolutely. And so they're so focused on it. And I know that I have friends, and I've run into people all the time that are just so dismayed. And you could just sense the grief that they're feeling from everything that's going on. It's like a visceral anxiety. And so people are afraid, and a lot of them, and one of the times I feel the best is when people come up to me after I talk and say, hey, I feel some hope for a change. And so that's part of the mission as well, is let's get through this year, let's get through these next 3 years, and let's build up a grassroots organization that's going to make sure that we never have to deal with an administration like this again.
Doc, anything for...
Well, it's just that as a historian, group here, going way back, we lived through an era of 85 or more years where public service and all was considered senators. What's a senator's job? And they would say, well, we're the ones that decide war and assignment global. They thought global.
Right.
And the congressman persons, male and female, thought we have a direct responsibility. We're in touch every day on our desk and think back home, and we are to do anything. And our criteria is what can we do that might help the living experience, whatever. If we meet it back home, and when they had a Time Life with a picture, and they called them Kings of Pork. And that was Martha and others, West Virginia congressional rep, and they said, I will not apologize for that. They said, there's nothing to apologize. That's my duty as the people that are calling the desks on a daily basis with problems that we can help with. And I think that is a noble dedication to the folks back home, and anything that might help. However small, it would be obscured and taken off the table, and would forget about it because of Trump giving a crisis in the morning, and reporters run out to cover that, crisis in the afternoon, crisis in the evening, the rest of us go to bed, and he's tweeting all through the middle of the night. Anyhow, distraction.
One thing, Doc. The other thing, the only way we could get some pork back into this district is to elect Ellen.
That's right.
Absolutely.